There have been some otherworldly talents in the history of the NBA. Some of the greatest players in NBA history have come from the last 3 decades, more specifically from the shooting guard position. Guys like the arguable GOAT Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and recently James Harden have completely taken over the league with their talents. However, there's one shooting guard that everybody seems to forget about in the top players in NBA history discussion. That would be none other than the Flash himself, Dwyane Wade. Wade is considered by most to be a top 3 shooting guard of all time, but is never mentioned among some names like Moses Malone and Oscar Robertson. Why is that? If he's so good and highly regarded all time, why isn't he mentioned in the top 15 to 20 greatest players in the history of the NBA? That's what we're really here to discuss. In this video, we'll be going over how good Dwyane Wade's NBA career really was, rookie season to his farewell tour. After a truly dominant 3-year stint at Marquette, where he would average 21.5 points, 6.3 rebounds, 4.4 assists, and 2.2 steals per game in his junior season, Wade would be selected 5th overall in the 2003 NBA draft by the Miami Heat. The 2003 draft class is known as arguably the greatest of all time. Wade's success is a big reason why. Plus, a couple of guys we'll get to later. The Heat were coming off a 25-57 season, their worst since their first 2 seasons as a franchise, 1989 and 1990, and needed a star to kickstart their rebuild. Wade would instantly jump into that star player role in Miami and would jump into it strong. As a rookie, Wade would average 16.2 points, 4 rebounds, and 4.5 assists per game, finishing as a finalist for the Rookie of the Year award behind Carmelo Anthony and eventual winner LeBron James. Wade would not only put up numbers, but he would also help lead Miami to a 42-40 record, a 17-win increase, and a spot in the playoffs. In those playoffs, Wade would even have an insane run, beating the New Orleans Hornets in the first round in 7 games, including a game-winning jump shot with 1 second left in his first ever playoff game, before losing to the first-seeded Indiana Pacers in 6 games the next round. Wade would become only the 4th rookie in the shot clock era to lead his team in both points and assists in a single postseason. This was an insane rookie season, and we haven't even grazed his prime yet. In the 2004 offseason, the Heat knew they had a star in Wade. What did they do? They went and got a star to play next to him, as they would make a trade with the Los Angeles Lakers to acquire future Hall of Famer and 3-time Finals MVP Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq would go from playing with one generational shooting guard in Kobe Bryant to another in Wade. Wade and Shaq would immediately become one of, if not the best, duo in all of basketball, despite Wade only going into his 2nd season. And with Shaq by his side, Wade took that superstar jump. In 2005, Wade averaged 24.1 points and 6.8 assists per game, making not only his first All-Star team, but his first All-Defense and All-NBA teams as well. He would also finish as the runner-up for the Most Improved Player award behind Bobby Simmons of the Los Angeles Clippers. Wade and his brand new All-NBA center would make a massive jump in the playoffs as well, being 1 win away from the NBA Finals, losing to the reigning champion Detroit Pistons in 7 games. Dwyane Wade and the Miami Heat were here to compete for a long time. The 2005-2006 season would be an absolutely historic one for not only Wade, but the Miami Heat franchise as a whole. Wade's numbers would see yet another increase, as he would average 27.2 points per game, which is insane for someone in their 3rd season. Wade would make yet another All-Star and All-NBA team, but his biggest accomplishment in 2006 came in the playoffs. Miami's continued improvement in the playoffs would continue, as Wade and the Heat would make the NBA Finals just 1 season after being 1 game away. Wade and the Heat would run into Dirk Nowitzki and the Dallas Mavericks, and before they knew it, they would see a 2-0 deficit. Miami needed a big-time push from their big-time star, and boy did Flash deliver. Games 3, 4, and 5, Wade would score a total of 121 points, leading Miami to a 3-2 series lead. That's an average of 40 points per game. In the finals, unbelievable stuff from number 3. Wade would tally up 36 more points in Game 6, leading the Miami Heat to their first NBA championship in franchise history, and of course, Wade took home Finals MVP award after averaging 34.7 points per game for the series. Wade had done what few had ever done in only his 3rd season, cementing himself as one of the best players in the world at age 24. The 2007 season would unfortunately not be nearly as successful successful as its predecessor, as Miami would suffer from plenty of injuries, including to Wade himself, missed 31 games in 2007. Despite that, he would still make his third straight All-NBA team, as he would average 27.4 points and 7.5 assists per game in his 51 games. In the offseason, Wade would undergo a pair of surgeries on his left arm and left knee, causing him to miss the start 2007-2008 season. Still, Wade would make another All-Star team. Shocker, right? However, halfway through the 2008 season, the Heat would trade Wade's counterpart Shaquille O'Neal to the Phoenix Suns. At this time, Shaq was nearly 36 years old, but he still had a little left in the tank, so Heat fans were wondering why this move even happened. The Heat had played poorly this season, so head coach Pat Riley decided to sit Wade for the last 21 games of the season to help heal his knee. In the summer of 2008, something crazy happened. Dwyane Wade became the best player in basketball for a short period of time. The 2008 Olympics were in full effect. Wade was a part of the Redeem Team USA, where, funny enough, he would be the best player on a team that included players like LeBron James and Kobe Bryant. Oh, also, Wade went bald for this run, and it looked awesome. Wade would lead Team USA to Olympic gold before rejoining the Heat for the 2008-2009 season, where his strong play would carry over. Wade would continue playing like the best player in the world, leading the entire NBA in scoring, 30.2 points per game, and finishing third in MVP voting, an award he frankly should have won. Wade also finished third in Defensive Player of the Year voting in 2009, meaning that his prime was officially at its peak. Wade would have yet another first-team All-NBA season in 2009, but the Heat had found minimal success. So, what did they do? They signed superstars LeBron James and Chris Bosh to help bring Miami another championship or two. Despite being in his prime, Wade was more than okay with taking on a secondary role with LeBron in town, and boy did it pay off. In their first season together, Wade would still average above 25 points, but the Heat had found new life. They would make the NBA Finals, once again facing off against Dirk and the Dallas Mavericks. This time, however, Dirk would get the upper hand on the Miami Super Team, defeating them 6 games. Despite Wade averaging 26.5 points that series, Heat fans were disappointed with the hype this team got in the offseason. The media were questioning if LeBron, Wade, and Bosh could get it done as a tandem. Funny, the Heat would once again make the NBA Finals in 2012, despite Wade's statistical decrease. This time, they won the whole thing in 5 games against Kevin Durant and the super young Oklahoma City Thunder. And the next year, they did the exact same thing all over again. They would take the league by storm in the regular season, winning 27 straight games, which is good for second most all time, and winning a franchise record 66 games, before making it all the way to the NBA Finals and defeating Tim Duncan and the San Antonio Spurs in 7 games, a series in which many call the greatest NBA Finals of all time. You all know the shot. Rebound Bosh back out to Allen, his three-pointer, bang! Yeah, at this time, Wade had won 3 rings, 1 Finals MVP, made 8 All-NBA teams, been the best player on an Olympic gold medal team, got snubbed for an MVP, and made almost every All-Star game he could. So what was left? He had started to fall out of his prime, and after losing in their 4th straight NBA Finals appearance to the team they beat a year prior, Spurs, LeBron James had gone back Cleveland, and Miami was left with a torn-apart, injury-riddled superstar. Despite all of the injuries and having no LeBron, Wade would keep Miami in contention for as long as he could. Some would even say that the Heat would have made the Finals in 2016 if it wasn't for Chris Bosh going down. After that, he would have a contract dispute with Pat Riley, who was now the president of basketball operations in Miami, and would leave the Heat for the first time in his career, signing with the Chicago Bulls, where he would play 1 season before heading to Cleveland to play with his old pal LeBron James. We don't talk about those years, however, because midway through the 2018 season, the Cavs would trade Wade back to Miami in a moment that will live forever among Heat fans. Wade would get one last hurrah with a team that he had spent almost his entire career with, going on his final farewell tour in the 2019 season and ultimately retiring that offseason. But not before he would have just a few more iconic moments in a Heat uniform. Wade will forever go down in history in Miami, as his number 3 is up in the rafters of the Kaseya Center. Wade is also due to have a statue built for him outside of the arena. Wade would be a first ballot induction into the Hall of Fame 2023, meaning that his legacy will live forever, just among Heat fans, but among NBA fans all around the world. So, back to the question at hand. Why isn't Wade talked about among the greatest of all time? That's for you to answer. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on Dwyane Wade's career. What's your favorite D-Wade moment? Do you love him or hate him? Love to hear your input.